Everyone who watches American Psycho walks away with the same reaction. They laugh. They cringe. They call him a monster. And then they go home, look in the mirror, and put on their best outfit. That's not a coincidence. Patrick Bateman has lived rent-free in the minds of millions of men for over 2 decades. Not because he's admirable, not because what he does is right, but because he understood something about the world that most people are too comfortable to admit. Today, Dark Lens is going to show you exactly what that is. Patrick Bateman is a 27-year-old investment banker on Wall Street. He wears the right suits. He eats at the right restaurants. He carries the right business card. On paper, he is the definition of success, and he is completely, utterly miserable. That's the first thing most people miss. They see the apartment, the physique, the confidence, and they stop there. They don't ask the obvious question. If he has everything, why is he falling apart? Because Bateman didn't build a life. He built a performance. Every morning routine, every restaurant reservation, every perfectly pressed shirt, it wasn't discipline. It was armor, a costume designed to make him indistinguishable from the men around him. Men he secretly despised. Men he was terrified of becoming. And here is where it gets uncomfortable. Because that performance, you know exactly what it looks like. You've seen it. You've probably done it. The clothes you wear to be taken seriously. The opinions you keep quiet to avoid conflict. The version of yourself you present at work, at dinner, with people who you need to impress. Bateman just took it further than you're willing to admit you understand. Bret Easton Ellis, the man who created Bateman, didn't write a horror story. He wrote a satire. American Psycho is not about a killer. It's about a system, a world where men are so obsessed with status, with appearances, with being perceived as powerful, that they lose any sense of who they actually are underneath all of it. Bateman's violence, and this is the part that makes people uncomfortable, may not even be real. There is a serious argument, supported by the text itself, that most of what happens in American Psycho exists only in Bateman's mind. That the murders are the fantasies of a man so suffocated by his own performance that destruction became the only thing that felt real. Think about that for a moment. A man so disconnected from himself, so buried under layers of status and image and competition, that the only time he felt anything was when he imagined tearing it all down. That is not the story of a monster. That is the story of a man who forgot he was a person. And Ellis is asking you, directly and uncomfortably, whether you recognize any of that in yourself. Now, let's talk about why millions of people have made Patrick Bateman into an icon of discipline. Because there is something real there, something worth extracting. Bateman's routine is immaculate. He wakes up before the world. He exercises with intensity. He eats with purpose. He dresses with precision. He moves through every room like he owns it. That part is not fiction. That part is a blueprint. The discipline Bateman demonstrates, stripped away from everything else, is the discipline of a man who takes himself seriously, who refuses to be sloppy, who understands that how you present yourself to the world is a form of communication. Most people communicate weakness without knowing it. The wrinkled shirt, the unfocused eyes, the voice that apologizes before it finishes a sentence, the handshake that asks for permission. Bateman never asked for permission. And that, not the violence, not the obsession, not the emptiness, is what people are actually responding to when they say they admire him. They're not admiring a psychopath. They're admiring the version of themselves that doesn't flinch, the version that walks into a room and doesn't immediately scan it for approval, the version that has a standard, and holds it. Here is where Dark Lens does something different. We're not going to tell you to be Patrick Bateman. Bateman is a warning, not a template. The man had every external marker of success and zero internal foundation. His discipline was real. His standards were real. His presence was real. But it was all pointed outward, all designed to perform for an audience that didn't care about him, all built on comparison, on being better than the man next to him, rather than becoming the man he actually wanted to be. That is the trap. And it's a trap that is more available than ever. In a world of curated feeds and public metrics and status games played at scale, the temptation to build a performance instead of a life has never been stronger. Discipline without direction just makes you a more efficient version of lost. So what do you take from Bateman? You take the standard. You take the refusal to be sloppy with your body, your time, your environment, your words. You take the understanding that how you carry yourself is a decision, not an accident. And you leave the performance. You leave the obsession with being perceived. You leave the scorecard that measures your worth against men who are just as lost as you are. Bateman's tragedy is not that he was too disciplined. It's that he was disciplined in every direction except the one that mattered, inward. Patrick Bateman is a mirror, and the reason he makes people uncomfortable is not because he's foreign to them. It's because he isn't. Most men are running some version of his program. The performance, the armor, the relentless optimization of the outside while the inside goes unexamined. The difference between Bateman and you is not capability. It's not discipline. It's not intelligence. It's awareness. He never stopped to ask what any of it was for. That question, what is this for, might be the most important one you ever ask yourself. Dark Lens exists to help you ask it. If this made you think, even for a second, hit subscribe, because this is just the beginning. Next, we're going inside the mind of a man who understood power the way most people understand breathing. Naturally, completely, without hesitation.